Welcome, everybody, to the Just Jump In live stream. Hope everybody is having a fantastic week. Yes, happy long weekend. I'm happy that's here now, too. As always, just give a shout out that you can hear me. As we all know, audio is my biggest problem. And in the chat, Bill was first, one of our resident S scalers was first and gets the virtual cookie. Hey, Randy, welcome in. It's getting to be camping season for you, isn't it? Joe, welcome. Nice to have you in here. As you can see, I found my old sign and noticed I just made it really bigger. But as always, just jump in and make sure you try something new. Thank you, guys. Mom, welcome in. Good to have you in here. Are you still watching hockey now that like no teams are left that you really watch? Okay, so I had like a full list of things, but I got to go find that list now to just chat with you on. But again, if you're out there and you're just hovering in the background, make sure you say hi just so I know you're around. And I'm also supposed to, although all of you are probably subscribers, and as it looks like you are subscribers, but I'll say, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so that YouTube gets this out to more people and more people come and join us and have a good time. Nice, Randy. Uh-oh, we got a Hurricanes fan in here. So, Joe, I grew up a New York Rangers fan, and I got my dad into it, and he got my mom into it. My mom's like a not-so Rangers fan now. So there's history there with the old Hartford Whalers that they used to play all the time. But yeah, so we're down to just a couple teams left. I haven't actually watched. I tend to watch most of my sports stuff now. I tend to watch on YouTube. I'll watch the highlights. But yeah. So and just remember, pop in what you're working on. If you're working in the background, cleaning your layout or whatever it might be that you're working on, let us all know. We're all interested in what everybody's doing. And so we just want to make sure we're connecting with the community. I wanted to throw this out here real quick. This is a mostly done project. So I took the flat car that I created from the Lone Star Clinic, and then using CAD software designed this gondola. And structurally, it's pretty much done. I may add an additional hole in each of these cross beams because I did forget that, and I ended up putting this over top, and of course that interferes with the wheels, so I'll have to do something like that. And then the other thing I was thinking about, and now you can't see it because of the red color, and you have to get it in real tight, but I use a filament printer, and so you can it's grainy, but you can when I shine it, you can see lines. And they're actually, the shine makes them look like they're going up, but they're going across. So I thought about from a evaluation standpoint that I might try putty. and putty over it. And then, when I printed this one, for instance, there, you can see the cross lines in here now, a little bit. It took a long time to print. I think it was 9 or 11 hours or something to print all the parts. But it was the smallest nozzle and the smallest line height, and it doesn't look bad even as you get up close. And here's where you can see that was an added ladder, that was the biggest struggle. But here's a good shot of where you can see the lines in here. And so I thought about it, but when I look at this, for its merits, I don't think having the lines in there would be a detractor. And if it is, that's a shame, because this was fully freehand designed, and then the printer was just the tool to use to make that happen. So you're waiting for paint to dry, aren't we all? Montana Northern, welcome in. Nice to have you back in here. I'll believe it when I see it, Randy, when there's when it's final. Gopher Girl, welcome in. Ken, greetings from Thunder Bay. Welcome, Ken, one of our other S-scalers. So yeah. The other thing I was worried about with if I was going to paint it, so I purposely printed it in red because it's their New Jersey Transit via maintenance away vehicles and everything tended to be red, so I printed it that way. Adding decals is where you can tell, though. When I did the ice house, the decals melted right in to the sides that showed lines and everything, and look really nice. But you can tell the lines. Now I sanded that down more, so I could sit here and go with sandpaper and sit in here and do this kind of thing, and with sanding stick or whatever. But that would take a really long time to do, and I don't think it's maybe necessary. We'll have to look with what it looks like with decals and make that determination. And I don't know if we can see that if I play with the light, but where I was sanding it, it also shows the cross lines there from the layers. Anyway, so that was going to be my weekend purchase, was going to be I have Tamiya putty, but I wanted to try the water-based Vallejo putty, but I don't know if I'm going to do that because I kind of think this is pretty good. Hey, Ken, was it just registration today, or were there any events or outings or anything today? So let's get this. So officially, the convention, the Superior Rails Thunder Bay, Ontario Thousand Lakes Region Convention started yesterday officially and goes through the weekend. And a number of us are up there. I obviously am not, because usually when I travel, I don't travel with my computer because Gopher Grown has work to do, and that pays some of our bills. And so, yeah. The thing with the Vallejo's putty is being that it's water based, you can smooth it before it's completely dry, and that's the only reason I thought about doing that. But again, I don't think it was necessary, so I have to find another excuse to go to the hobby shop, because that's what it really comes down to, is I needed an excuse to go. So I did actually finally get myself back into the coil car. And if you're new in here, I am, as part of the NMRA AP program, I am doing basically 2 coil cars. I'm trying one that's basically scratch built with styrene for the most part, and one that's completely 3D printed. But I've been working on mostly lately the scratch built one. I do have 3D printed parts in here because I really didn't know how I was going to design these tranches, and so I basically separated them out from here, printed them out, and glued them in here. But everything else is styrene. The what do they call this? The hydro cushion center is that piece is a kit, and so I'm following these tiny little instructions. Obviously, this is made more for a box car or something like that, but it gave the extended coupler pockets, as well as the fact that they use a cushion underframe for the car. I did 3D design and 3D print these bolsters. I wasn't happy with following the directions from the NMRA clinic, and I struggled on the flat car with fitting in the trucks, and I had modified those a little bit, but I decided that there are no pictures of the underside of a coiled car that I could find. And so I just decided to design them the way I think that they'll support the car and give me space to do stuff underneath. So yeah, if you paint, it's going to give a solid surface for sure, because not only will I paint, I'll put a primer onto it, and that's going to give you your solid surface. And I could try. I've liked Vallejo products, so I've stuck with them. But I think Mr. Hobby has like a self-leveling primer, supposedly. So if that can somehow help, I might try that. That'll give me a reason to go to the hobby store. But I might try that as an option. But that's a project that's been on hold. It's almost done, but it's been on hold doing these other projects. So I had to glue another piece in on the end. I forget which end it was here, but I got that done. And then I also removed the plastic that was the chain, because it was just bent around this piece here. And then I drilled a hole in there, and then I went to go find the chain I had, and I was going to put that through and glue it onto the wheel and the wheel housing. And I can't find the chain, what's left of the chain. So I'll have to find that, or I'll have to order that again. That was from A-Line, is who had that. And that was on which car was it on? It was on the flat car, I would assume. Flat cars on the layout right now. The other thing this came with, it came with ladders and everything. So I ended up struggling with the ladder deal. I couldn't find the ladder that would fit exactly like the prototype. So I decided to cut these ladders up because there's ladders on all four sides. Not that you really seem to need them in this car, but I did cut them up and glue them on. And so we have moved through that. I think from an evaluation standpoint, this is probably going to be considered a simple build. It doesn't have a huge amount of parts. I don't consider it simple myself, but I think when it comes down to the points and everything, I think that'll be looked at. But honestly, there's not a whole lot more to this car. Don't think I probably have something. Let's see if I have some Conrail photos. So this is going to be a Conrail coil car. All right. And I did find somebody who created a drawing for this. Showed this before, but I didn't know any sizes of anything at all. So I didn't quite get this to exactly HO scale size. It's just slightly off. You might be able to see that on here a little bit. It's just slightly off, but I got what I needed from this so that I could actually measure this out. Otherwise, it was like a no-go. I couldn't figure it out. But you can see here, they give you the ends. They give you almost everything you need here for the most part. I did have to do a little guessing with the tranches, and these aren't perfect for the prototype. The prototype has sort of like they go down like that, like you see here, but then there's lips that go down that form a little bit more of a holder for the coils. The other thing I have a problem with going through size, now these aren't official, like anything official as far as size goes, but it was just something I did get offline that were supposed to be HO scale, and there are many different sizes. Even Tangent, who makes a coil car and sells the coils, sells them in different sizes, so you could even have smaller coils in here. And so this is pretty close to the end. There are some details underneath that broke off that were part of the braking system that broke off that I'll have to try and get back on. I don't know how easy it's going to be. But there's a few extra parts, and then making sure that the wheel sets are on, and then it'll be painting and decaling will be next. And I might have to use some generic stuff. There isn't a whole lot. There's no real decals for New Jersey. Oh, well, I'm sorry, there is. No, we're doing Conrail, not New Jersey Transit for this. This is a freight car, and I do have decals for this. So, and I have multiple sets, so I'll still be able to continue on with the 3D printed version. Here's where I was adding these the bolsters and testing those out, and based on how infill works for this, these were kind of hollow, which doesn't help with securing things with screws, and these were off from I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but so that'll be next. But I keep moving along with this one, so that's where I'm going with that. It took me a long time to get it back in, just to glue that extra piece on, and then get to the ladders, and then go searching for that stupid chain. So when I'm at the hobby shop, I have to remember to get another chain. Probably I've seen them have that, so hopefully they still have that in stock. And so that project keeps moving along, and I have lots of projects, and none of them are finished. Just wanted to show you this. I posted this in the Facebook group, but I was trying to make, and goodness knows where it went, I was trying to make a bag of ice for the ice house, and I actually took this from a dollhouse miniature maker, and dollhouses are either 1 to 12 or 1 to 24, so they're much bigger. But what they did is they just, and I used this cup too, they just used hot glue and just did thin strips, a bunch of thin strips, and then they cut these into tiny little pieces, and they're clear, and it looked like, I knew I would lose that bag. Let me see. I don't think it's anywhere anymore, but there's a picture of it on the Facebook group. See if I can get to it easily. Can't always do that. Let's see here. Lots of people are posting, so that's wonderful. So it makes you have to go look for previous posts. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can share that, and I'll show you what I was talking about, maybe. All right. Okay, so here's the ice house on the left, and I was trying to get it down at HO scale, and here's a close-up on the right, and they look like ice cubes. There's no way I'm going to get them perfectly scale, but if I can get them small enough and in a bunch, that's what I needed. Now, I use some like a little tiny plastic package, and I cut a little bit of that out, and then used I just wanted to seal the edges, and you can see it basically made this really weird jagged line and solid, and it doesn't look exactly like a bag. It kind of does, but not quite. It's not quite what I wanted. So I may try this again. I like how the ice cubes came out, though. I thought that was a clever idea, and I thought it worked well, but the bag part of it wasn't so good. So I thought about adding on the ice house underneath the chute, just something that would basically capture the bag coming out of the chute, something like that, or I could cut up a whole bunch of these again and have a little bin underneath, and it's just the ice itself, and maybe have something next to it that looks like a roll of bags. Hey, Bob, ironic timing for you. So this was my attempt, Bob, to actually make a bag of ice. And as I was saying to the rest of the crew, it was from a technique from Dollhouse Miniaturist, and those are the folks that make 1 to 12 or 1 to 24. And of course, inspired by my mom and what she does. And so I was looking around for how to make that. I even looked for HO scale ice bags. Couldn't find anything on the YouTube. So I went with that, trying it. So, um, how remote are you, Ken? Can you buy anything there? Um, hey, Jimmy, welcome in. So I don't think I saw about I don't think I saw a comment from you guys, but was there anything like what was on the docket for today? Um, since I assume there was still registration for folks today and registration yesterday, but I would assume there was activities today. Um, so anyway, so that was my crazy attempt, and again, it's it's just doing strips of these, um, and this one came out a little big, but strips of these of from a hot glue gun, and then just chopping them up really, really fine. So a really neat little simple technique. All clinic day. Cool. Cool, cool. Um, so yeah. All right. So that was a little bit of fun that I was trying to I got kind of inspired to try to do that. And how many layout tours did they end up with? I think, you know, I think that it feels like that's an essential piece of the conventions. And so hopefully, because I think I was a little disappointed with that piece of it for Wilmer. So hopefully we always make sure they make sure that we have those for conventions. Yeah, army painters um, um, all around. Um, how are prices up there for this stuff? Is it pretty similar to the U.S. or is the exchange rate pretty tough? Because when I hear the YouTube the Canadian YouTubers, the prices they quote for Canadian seem super high. Let's see here. So the next project or the concurrent project was finishing this up. And I need to clean this piece up. What I found, so this is really interesting. I wanted to find a pen version of this silver so that I could get in here and do some fine work. And I like the AK pen. It's a really nice, easy one to use, but the aluminum color is darker and different. It's a much more gray color. So I was trolling the internet trying to find some things. Then I found that Walmart had like paint pen and like fillable paint pens and ink pen and like paint brushes. So to act just like a paint pen. The only one they had there of the round brushes, the round tip, was one left, which was actually there were like three in there, and one was taken out, and two were left in there. So it's damaged, and I was disappointed. I was looking around and looking around, and I found they carry apple barrel paints, and I found these acrylic paint pens. Okay, makes sense because it's kind of opposite for sure. Don't go stealing any gifts from the kid, because you know the kid's not going to know any gifts it's really getting. But that sounds like fun. Lots of cake messes and stuff for a 1-year-old birthday. So I found these pens and I went for it. And from afar, you can't tell. If you get up close, and I'll have to kind of bring this in, you can tell. And I don't know if that's more because of how the paint ripped off here, because even the primer came off here. And so I just used the paint pen on here. So you can see the kind of the outline of stuff, but it's the right color. So that was an unintended success. So next I'm going to go ahead and clean up this part right here where there was more bleed, and then be finished with it. All of the walls with windows have the windows attached. And I wanted to go back and try these decals, these diner decals that they actually base placement suggestions. So city building signs, 1950 plus diners, on this actual kit. And when I was going through, all the decals were ripping or disintegrating. Oh, that's unfortunate, Randy. That would have been different, maybe. I don't think the air is different or anything up there, but so I went to try and use these, and they were disintegrating, and I'm like, I have everything just keeps falling. But I have this, and this is the liquid decal film. So if you're doing your own decals, so it says restores old decals and make custom decals. And so I've used this when I've printed out decals. I bought some decal paper and this, and put this over top once it sort of dries, because I have an inkjet printer. But this also restores old decals. So I went over the whole sheet of what I have left in here with this stuff, and I'll let it dry for a day. I don't know if it needed the whole for a full 24 hours. But I let it dry. It feels kind of grainy on here, and it doesn't feel smooth at all. But this one didn't break on me when I got it on here. So that's going to go on the front end here. And so that one didn't break. And then this one did, unfortunately, and I left it on there. This one did not break, and that fit in there pretty good. I have the arrow sign. Before I realized what was happening, that's what happened to it. So I left this one on, and I'll try and use that on the arrow that came with this. And then I really kind of want, the main ones I want on here are like, this are in white, so it's hard to see, but like the French fries there's burgers there, hamburgers, malts. Before I knew what was going on, I also cut out the coffee one, and that just ripped. So hopefully these will survive. And if you look really close to this, you can see that you can see the decal film. But further away, it'd be fine. I didn't plan on any lights in here, so it shouldn't reflect or anything. And I would put like the the hamburger and french fries would kind of go at the top of these windows, and then there's a side one that I would do on there. So I worked on that a little bit, got a little bit further. These are ready, so I probably will work on this weekend. We got to make a list because I need the chain. I need more of the liquid decal film because I have a feeling that am going to end up with not enough New Jersey Transit decals, and no companies make them because New Jersey Transit doesn't want to make licensing deals with them. So that'll be kind of important because I want to print decals out. So I'm probably going to steal them from online and then print them out and see how they go. But yeah, so I have to get some more of that. And the chain. So everybody's got to remember my list because I'll forget it. Gopher Girl, you're going to have to text me the list. It's going to be an A-line chain and microscale liquid decal film. So and the home repair fund. Yeah, and Jimmy, you can't even give U.S. businesses the Canadian penny anymore because none of them are taking the pennies anymore. So, so you are going to have a pile of coins that if you haven't got rid of them. I'm going to leave that out because I got to remember that in case Gopher Girl doesn't text me. So, got a few more things I want to talk about today. That was the diner update. So, the next thing I want to talk about is this. Give me a little second to pull it up. So, what I want to talk about is a new app called Model Train Media. Now, I heard about this app through a podcast several months or even maybe up to a year ago. And it was one person who was designing it because he's a model railroad fan and wanted a dedicated space. He didn't want Facebook. He wanted a dedicated space, talked about it, got people. He's got trains.com as a sponsor, and he's got some guys like Jimmy from DIY and Digital, kind of a voice behind it as well. And so the only thing when he first was presenting it, the only thing I was worried about is he was a young guy, school age, I believe, and he like college age, I should say, and he, I was worried about, does he have a team that can make sure. Now, you're not giving the app a lot of data, but just making sure things are safe and, maybe he'll build it up if he gets enough sponsors and everything. But it exists now. So you can go out to modeltrainmedia.com. You can download it in the Google Play Store, if that's what it's called. I don't have a phone like that. Or the App Store for Apple. And you can go find me. I'm on there now as well. And you can find me at DMRJ will find me on there. And I also have created 2 groups. So you have your regular feed with all the things you belong to, and it's going to feed your regular daily feed. But you can also go out to the groups, basically like Facebook. And his goal is to have it just for model railroading and have an app out there just for model railroading. And so it's a pretty cool start. There's over 3,000 now who are on the app. And because I'm apparently not able to handle logging in. Let's see if I can switch this up somehow. Can I switch that up? There we go. Oh, maybe not. Let's see here. Let's do. Don't want to do that. I want to do this. Okay. So here's your app. Basically, it has some featured members on there. Jimmy's on there as well. Not that you can tell real close. And he's got some messages and things that are static right now. He's got some groups. I've put in a few ideas and suggestions because it is brand new and could use some things. Like, I want to be able to embed this stream every Friday into the app so that people on the app can watch and they can be, and be on this app. So here's your feed, and it has, it's taking a second to load, but you can upload video and pictures and comments and all of that. And it has likes and comments just like other apps do, but you also have groups. So when you go out there, and you can see there are 174 groups right now, and you can create them if you want. And I can put up my groups, and I have, what is going on? Oh, my computer is doing its thing. Why? And I have groups I created, and you can see that I'm organizer of this group. I don't know what that was. So I created a group for New Jersey Transit modeling. There are 17 members. I then put in a post. No, I got a couple likes on the post here. Nobody else has commented or added anything. And of course, my old model, Just Jump In here, has a bunch of members. I've only got one post that I've done. And this group specifically is about techniques. I want people to share techniques. So I shared the hairspray chipping technique as the first one. Got a few likes, got some comments on that as well. So again, it's just a place to, there is a blog section, and I think that's more for the organizer, the guy who set it up, and then some other things here that you can see. There's trains.com, like I said, is a sponsor. And then, where was it? There's a thing called products here, and you can contribute. They have one for $4.99 a month, one for $1.99 a month, and a business partner for $39.99 a month. And he's promising future perks, as he doesn't have any set up right now. But again, so he's looking for support through business partners mainly, and then through members who want to get other perks and things like that. And let's see if it has, I'm not sure if it has, I saw the number somewhere. 2,360 members right now. So not close to 3,000 yet, but maybe some of you will be interested in joining up on that. I would love to see us reach out in the Twin Cities division and in the Thousand Lakes region. I'd love to see us connecting through here as well, and not to replace Facebook and other apps and connections, but just to add to it. And the fact that it's a dedicated space is really cool. So, for you were talking about when I was talking about, oh, here we go with the Gopher Girl. I hope you're not downloading stuff or whatever because we're getting choppy again. But so I was saying that for New Jersey Transit, I would have to design um, my own decals once I run out. Everywhere I've been, I've grabbed whatever New Jersey Transit microscale decals are out there. They were the only ones that are around. And I've used a bunch already. And, I have only a limited supply. So when those run out, if I can't find any more anywhere, because they're not produced by microscale anymore and nobody's producing them. And everyone that I've talked to has said that New Jersey Transit doesn't want to work with them. And I don't know if that means they don't want to work with them and they don't want to license them, or if it means it was not a fair deal and these decal companies don't want to make them because it's not a fair deal. But I've made decals before. I've tried and I've made them successful, using the paper and the right, that's why I was asking you, Bob, about the paper that you used, because I grabbed the stuff that's at the local hobby shop and then grabbed that solution to seal them in. I have, Bill, I have one of the Horizon cars has a underbody. So I got them all at a train show. And one of them didn't fit the shell. And I look at it and the guy's got stacks of pennies all the way up the middle. The middle had the highest stack, and so that was a good use of pennies. So you can use that with Canadian coins. I don't know if they weigh different, but you certainly can do that. So that's a good way to go, because I've seen it. It's not better, Bob, by any means, because it's brand new. So it has a ways to go. It has some things that he's got to figure out, and that's why he has a suggestion box, basically, and why I've given suggestions. Um, it's not. It's an extra, and it's different, and lots of people don't love Facebook. Well, and they're model railroaders. Well, here's a app that they can certainly try out. Um, it's a slow start, and he's had it open for months for certain people that he's invited in. They've been testing it. It works. It has had some crashes, for me, um, and some other people at times, but those are things that get worked out over time. So I'm not worried about that. Um, and I'm not trying to replace anything. I do know that there are a lot of people who really don't like Facebook or don't like the mega corporation bit and all of that, and they want to make choices that way. So I'm certainly going out there. I've also started a Discord page, and ignore this Discord link that's in here. I've got to get that out of there because those expire and I've got to get a new one like every week, I think. Um, but I've started that up to try and get some community going, and Discord's used by a lot of model railroaders. It's just another and different and has different features. Obviously NMRA has that for their members. A very comprehensive Discord channel. Um, so it's just another one out there for you. So that would work as well. Yeah. With the overspray. So does that have to do with exchange rate, Jimmy? So yeah. So if you want to check it out, just go find me and follow me on there, and I'll follow you back, and um, jump into those groups and contribute in those groups, and let's have a conversation on there as well. And again, here for computers, you can go out here if you want to get started on there. That's the link to the new social media site. And then you should just like on YouTube, I tried to keep the branding the same, because branding is what it is. You should be able to find me on there like that, or find the groups. Look for Just Jump In. So like if you go to groups and you use the search. So let's see what it does if I search Just Jump In. So I did the full Just Jump In, and it found the group. Look at that, it has 93 members already. So they have a feature on here where you can invite people. Now, if you post in the group, I don't know if that gets onto their feed or not. I haven't figured that out. I would hope it suggests it. I hope he has a suggestion engine. But I invited people and that are on the app, and 93 of them came in for that. So, and there's one post. Anyway, there you go. All it takes is be careful what you suggest, Bob, because all of a sudden that could be your thing. And that sounds like a monumental task to, because not only do you have a history of cars and engines and things and buildings and whatnot, you have different manufacturers, and so you'd have to unify the UPC codes and everything, but not a bad idea so that you can find stuff. Then you have to watch out at train shows when you find that UPC on a box and then inside something completely different. But I would, if I were you, I'd go for it. But it's not a project I probably would like. So, yeah. So, we think we got this right. I'm going to switch over to this real quick and say, look, I'm not out trying to make money or anything. It would be nice to make money and make an income stream or something like that. And I have 2 stores. I don't promote them much. I would rather you not spend, $25 or $28 on a hat, and $3 would go to the channel and all of that stuff, or whatever it may be. It would be nice to have my logo out there and everything. But I just want to do 2 things. I want to be able to continue the hobby and get a little help with that for the time I put in to hopefully entertain and educate people. And I also want to give back. And a way to do that is we give back as a group and a community. It would be through donation, and then we can do giveaways and things like that. And so I did set this up again, and I'm hoping that if you're interested, this this tip jar works through PayPal if you're somebody who's uses PayPal. If you like Venmo, Gopher Girl has offered up our, I say our Venmo, but it's really hers, and so you might be helping her Lego habit if you use that. But if that's something you would like, she can share that in the chat if she wants. Um, um, was Heath doing UPC codes? I thought I saw, and it might have been a clinic where I saw somebody doing UPC codes, or maybe it wasn't UPC codes, but it was something like that to inventory everything they had, and they had a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting, and I think it would be wonderful to have. If again, if you're interested and you try the code, let me know, or um, try what's on screen because my brain is blanking. Let me know if it works to at least get you in. They put in some suggestions and I left them as default. Even if you give me 10 cents, I'm happy with that. I don't care what you give me. You can customize your any donation amount that you want, but I think there's a suggestion for $1, $2, and $5. If the channel progresses to the point where I have a full list of benefits and things, I would definitely, do something with the benefits. Um, and tier them for donations. I even have a Patreon account that I set up forever ago. I've only ever had one patron. Um, I've gotten some money through that. That's helped me with the channel, helped me buy the glue and all the things, and so I really, 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 really appreciate it. And just let me know. And Gopher Girl has put in her Venmo. It's clearly her Venmo account, so, but it's there if anybody's interested. Anyway, so I will leave it at that. And I was working with Restream, and I don't know if it's a free piece or whatever. It's hard to do overlays on here so that I can pull this up and have it easy to do some stuff while that's up for people, because some people may want to use it at different times. So see, it doesn't really work to keep the screen going. So let's do this. I'll put that up for now, and then and I'll come back to this and say, I think I mentioned this on the last one. If I were going to do this again, I would make sure I didn't glue pieces together yet, because just to make it easier, first of all, to get the window acetate in, and then to put these decals on is a little harder. And actually, this one was easier because this one actually fell off from just a little bit of pressure, and so it's easier to put that on anyway. So, and unfortunately, the other thing is you can't do these decals from behind, which would be nice. I probably could print them backwards and then use printed ones and then put them on the back here, and that might be easier to do. I don't know, but anyway, so that will definitely be That will definitely be next. And no, right. I think you have to. I think that you have to log in to PayPal or have the PayPal app for you to get to it. But we'll work on that again, Bob, and figure that out. Um, I'm wondering too if PayPal can give you a link so that when you're in PayPal that it goes to the right spot. Um, but I was reviewing that earlier today to try and make that happen. But when we tested it too, and Gopher Girl, you probably can comment. We tested it, and she had to log into PayPal, but when she got into PayPal, um, it got her to the tip jar for this. Um, so I think it works like that. That you're always going to have to log in. And we actually tested the donation, and of course, PayPal is going to take some of that money. So I think they took, what did they take, 11 cents on the dollar that Gopher Girl donated. I don't love that, but it is doing a service by being the banking service for such a thing. So um, we have to be okay with that. And I appreciate you trying. And if it's not something that's convenient to do or anything, I understand. And like I said, I'm just happy, Bob, you've done a lot for me. You gave me a kit to do. Um, and you didn't charge me for it. You said, "Hey, test it out for me," and I was happy to do that. So, your support is there, and I appreciate you trying making these attempts too to get these things to work. Um, one day I'll be a professional at this stuff, but it's not today. But still, I appreciate you anyway. So you're not going to see that money, Jimmy. Like I have no access to you. What is going on there? Got something funky on the screen. Um, I have no access to that Venmo account. I ain't paying that fee, Gopher Girl. Um, so and then so maybe we'll put up just something along the bottom line. Let's see if I can put this up here. Let's switch this over. There you go. So this, and I don't know. Let's see if I type this in right also. And so we can get it into the chat. Well, I think everybody knows your name now, Gopher Girl. So yeah, it's a clunky setup, Bob, and it's there. If it's not a convenient way, or if people are frustrated with it, then we don't need to use it. This is not something I want to frustrate people over. This is something I just want, people to understand that they can help the channel. And if I could give away, let's say, for instance, you've got your business going and you want to promote your business, and I want to do a giveaway. I'm not going to ask you to donate your kit necessarily. I'll pay you for the kit, but I have to have the money to do that. And I think that it works well with other channels where people are willing to donate and they get stuff from. I wanted an engine for one of the Christmas shows from Sparky. and and I threw money in to help with the cost. I didn't want him to have to pay for shipping because he was giving this engine away for free, and you know so anyway, that's all it's about. And I'm not a great salesman, and I'm really not trying to sell anybody on this. um so um so it's only if you want to. And so at this point, I will go ahead and do that for some odd reason. Let's stop that. Let's go back to the camera. There we are. So a lot's going on. The convention's going on. New social media is out there. If not everybody wants to flood themselves with social media, and I get that. I just like the idea that it's dedicated to model railroading. The thing though I like about other social medias that have more things, for instance, getting this technique from the getting techniques from crafters and other miniaturists and things like that. I still like the idea of a dedicated space, and so I like what he's trying to do. So it looks like we're gonna go into our summer mode soon with picnics and things like that. The next thing up really as a big event is going to be the NMRA National Convention in July in Chattanooga. Let's see here. There's train days at Union Depot is coming up on June 7th. These can all be found at the TCD NMRA calendar. And then there's the North Metro. Oh no, that happened already. Then the big there's a big event in September. It's the Narrow Gauge National Convention coming to the Twin Cities. While that's not an NMRA event, we have been partnering with them and are happy to work with them and try and getting things done. And we'll have, many of our members will certainly be showing their layouts on layout tours during that time. The next show that's listed is the next. We just had the Twin Cities Model Railroad Museum Flea Market. They have another one in September. We will have the Great Train Show coming in October. And they're outside of our area, the Naperville RPM. We hear about that a lot out here. Will be in October as well. Train Fest will be in November. Unfortunately, that's my busy time, and it's an impossible time because we don't get time off for me to travel to that. It really sucks. I want to go to that. And then we have a few more events until we lead into the big one in January in Amherst. I'm going to try and get out someday to that one for sure. So that's what's going on. Yeah, Bob, it's I appreciate you trying and working through it. It's not it's a clunky process, and I don't hate to say this, but PayPal's a little bit older. I'm not monetized on YouTube, so I don't have an easy venue to certainly ask for donations. So I decided to try this, and we'll gauge it. If it if it bugs everybody, we won't do it. So, but appreciate you appreciate you really hitting that, getting at that. So, um, let's go ahead and also delete that. And then this should just be a happy face. So anyway, it's funny that I didn't notice these before. Maybe they didn't have them before. Maybe it's getting more popular or something. But I never noticed Apple Barrel or any of the other companies like that doing these. But here, I don't love that this is a round tip like this. It works fine. You just got to know your angle on it. Where it is, this one, the AK one has a nice tip, and it's a soft tip, so you can get a fine line, or you can, if you lay it as flat as possible, you get a really thick line on that. So that's the difference too. But, and then using the Posca markers, depending on the size you can get a really fine tip like that, but then you can't do really thick, and it takes a lot to fill up a space using these. The other thing that's not fun either is paint can build up, and if you put too much pressure down, because this fills with pressure, paint will spill out. I don't have the piece of paper towel anymore to show you, but there was a mess of one, and I didn't even know I was doing it. It was just a little bit of pressure, and it was enough that it filled the spot on the paper towel. So some different things. Depending on what you think is expensive. To me, these are expensive. I would only use them for the graffiti personally. These are medium expensive, and these were not. And I couldn't tell you how much these were, but it was a 2-pack with the gold and silver. But I was impressed with this, and so that was a lucky find. So. I had a lot of notes tonight. I was planning this out. These usually go better when I plan them out and have, and instead of freeform them. So, and Ken, I was thinking about that too, like depending on the train to get back, if it's the only one is the one that'll run at night on its way back and gets into St. Paul. I think it gets into St. Paul like 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. I don't know what time it would. I looked at it last year. I looked at it, and it just wasn't economical, and it was for time wise. I was only going to be able to be there on Sunday, and you couldn't miss the train, because if you missed the train, I'd have to get it the next day. And it's not. It's a pretty long ride as I've gotten older. It's a pretty long ride to Milwaukee. It's what, 5 hours? That's like going to the in-laws. I just not into doing that drive in one shot. And people would have to have the same schedule as me to be able to do that. And if I could get Gopher Girl to do that, if we could board our dogs and do that, we might be able to squeeze that in. But I can't. We have a blackout for work because it's an all hands on deck time of year for us. So from early October through probably the first few days to 10 days of December, we're blacked out. And then we're blacked out for the first 2 weeks of January. And so it's just sucky timing. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'll certainly talk about it with anybody if we want to do a group thing. If I can swing it and not piss off the powers that be. I tend to do that on my own anyway. I don't need any more help pissing off my bosses. Um, well, I definitely would try it. The new train. There you go with names of things again. The Borealis actually takes longer. So I was thinking about that too. But it's a longer trip on the Borealis to Chicago. I don't know about, I don't know the exact, if it takes the same routes or it stops somewhere, whatever it is. I know that it's a longer trip with that, but I've always wanted to try it, and it's popular, way more popular than the North Star ever was. Yep, it's the Borealis. Um, so I really like those North Star engines. And it's too bad they cost so much money for hobby. But also it's too bad that that never worked out. They just didn't do the right kind of planning. My wife and I talked about actually buying land between St. Cloud, my goodness, St. Cloud and Minneapolis, and thinking that it was going to grow, using that as a commuter line. It was going to grow the outskirts, and in between there, and that we would. I'm glad we didn't, because they did a crappy job with getting that up and running, and only doing part of it. I have no clue what stopped them from doing the full line. But nothing grew out of it, and so I'm glad we didn't go in on any land between there, because nothing grew. So, all right. So I am gonna go ahead and call it at this point and say thank you very much for hanging out with me and checking in on all the projects I'm doing. Hopefully, one day you're gonna see an actual project finished. That would be super cool. That I can actually finish one for all of you. But as always, remember to just jump in. Everybody who's at the convention, have a fantastic rest of the weekend and convention, and I hope your models do well there in the room there, and I hope everybody enjoys it. And I'm sad that I'm not there. But again, everybody just jump in and try something new. Have a great evening and a great weekend, and an extended weekend at that. Bye, everybody.